Hello, it's Claire from Angelic Scalliwags. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to take a trip into Mesopotamia, which is a unit study that I am creating, and with it I'm doing some demonstrations of the activities that you can do with your children. So today I'm going to be showing you how I create a paper mache map, paint it and label it. These can be large. We've done huge ones that have been the size of the table using boxes from our fridge freezer, or you can make smaller ones using cards, as you'll see, which I'm going to show you today. But sizing up is very simple and very easy, and this is one of the funnest things I've ever done. I love paper mache material and I love creating things. So the world here is just taking you down into Mesopotamia, and this gives you the idea of the area that I'm covering. So this is the card that I use. So here you can either use two pieces of card taped together with gaffer tape. You can use an Amazon package envelope and then just cut it down and neaten it up, which you'll see me do here. I think this is probably the cheapest and the most sturdiest option, although this isn't the option that I am taking today. But I do think that it's a very a good, easy and inexpensive option. And it gives you a really sturdy background to work on. And this is the option that I'm using. So I just dismantle a folder that I bought from the stationery shop. I particularly like these because they open up with two doors rather than just open up with one. These are the folders that my children use, and so I always like to cut down to size whatever envelope I choose to make the map in, and then it is able to just slide into the folder and be easily accessible for all the work that we do. And we do a lot of work with our maps. So here you can just see me drawing out the outline of Mesopotamia. Mesopotamia is the area between the two rivers, and Tigris and Euphrates, and I like to include Israel, Egypt and Turkey, which come into their culture so significantly. It's good to include those. Now this is the paper mache that you can buy from Amazon, and I'm just mixing it with a little bit of water. Now the instructions will tell you to mix it with I think 3 parts water to 1 part paper mache. I ignore that completely because I like a really stiff paper mache. You need to make sure you mix it so well so there's no dry bits, otherwise they will just fall off your paper. Now the wonderful thing with this is that you don't need glue or anything, it just sticks itself onto the paper, and all I'm doing is going over the outlines that I've done at the moment. As we'll be colouring in or painting the map in, it will look a lot more spectacular is a bit too strong a word I think for a paper mache map, but it will look much more vibrant and much more usable and useful once it's painted. So now I'm adding in up in Turkey the mountains. And obviously these are the mountains that the Tigris and Euphrates come down from. And all I'm really doing is I'm sort of putting it on and then lifting it up, and that's where you get the nice peaks. Here I'm just scraping where the folds are so that there's absolutely no paper mache where the folds are, and that just allows obviously the map to be folded down into their folder. Now I'm just going through the rivers with I think this is just a stick that I used for polymer clay, but basically I'm just making it look, just giving it a bit more detail, I guess. Like with the rivers, I'm giving it a river bed rather than just sort of erased paper mache. And I'm just neatening up the edges. You don't really need to do this, to be honest, and if you're having children do it themselves, it's likely that theirs won't be so tidy. My children's weren't, definitely. If you'd like to see my children's versions of these, they can be found on my blog under Mesopotamia Unit Study. I'll leave the link below. We've made lots of maps, so they're worth checking out. So now you can really see how the rivers, the rivers are now separated from the coastlines in terms of how they look, which is just a useful, I mean, once you colour it, you won't really need to do that, but I just like to put in a bit more detail. And also, if you do a huge map, like on a fridge freezer piece of card, you'll want to be a bit more detailed, otherwise it'll just look all messy. So this is the final painted version. I'm just going to sort of show you how I paint the maps. You can see that I've added salt to that map just to give it a bit more texture over the deserts. So you need to leave it to dry completely, and you need some acrylic paint is the best because it's nice and thick. And I just bought a small set of acrylic paint because I do like to use lots and lots of different colours, even though it just looks like I've used 3, green, yellow and blue, but actually I do use other kind of shades of those colours, and it's nice just to add a bit more detail. So right now all I'm doing is putting down a flat colour. And I'm now blending it in a little, so the green gets blended into the yellow a bit, and the blue is always contained. The oceans are always contained by the papier mâché. So, and I'm just adding lots of different colours of blue, shades of blue, just to give the appearance of moving water. I'm adding some darker green closer to the rivers. Now, one of our lessons is on why the ancient civilizations all sort of popped up around the rivers of the world, and it's obviously because of the water. So I'm just showing that here. Mountains I'm doing now in brown. I'm building the layers. It's what I do when I'm doing my watercolours for my business. I just build up layer upon layer. And you don't need to let each layer dry. In fact, I would prefer not to let the layers dry because you want sort of the paints to meld into one another, and yeah, it just gives a bit more depth when they do that, I think. I mean, I could be wrong. I'm just doing the waves now, just to give more movement to the water. The last thing to do is to label everything, and because I like the children just to utilise their maps as much as possible, I just always figure if you've got labels on it, you don't really need to teach them anything regarding the names of the rivers and the lakes and the seas and the countries, because they'll be exposed to them simply by opening up their map. And it looks a bit more like a map when you've got labels, I guess. That's my title of the map, which you don't really need to do. I'm just using Pritt Stick to stick them on. Once the labelling is done, that's the map completely finished. It can be folded up and popped in your child's folder for school. Just showing you a close-up now. I hope you've enjoyed my foray into Mesopotamia geography and messy crafts with papier-mâché and lots of paints. That's it for this week. I hope you all have a great week ahead of you, and don't forget to dream impossible dreams. Bye bye.